Hey friends, welcome back to Vinzi's Book Club, where we feel, reflect, and read and heal one book at a time. This week's episode is super personal because it's the first memoir that I'm actually reviewing on this channel. So last Sunday was Mother's Day, and this year, like last year, it hurt. If you're new here, I lost my mom in January of 2023, and it's been over a year now, but the grief is still very sharp and very present. And a couple of weeks ago, I walked into Barnes & Noble with my best friend Kiki, shout out Kiki, and this pink and yellow cover in the new releases column really caught my eye. I'm glad my mom died. Like, that title hit me like a punch to the face. It was jarring, but also made me feel seen in a way. So I picked it up and ran my hands across the cover. Jennette McCurdy standing there holding a pink urn, which resonated with me because I too picked out my mom's urn, and that detail alone had me hooked. So this week I read it cover to cover, all 304 pages, and today we're talking about it. So grab a sweet treat and get comfy while we unpack this emotional memoir. So this memoir by Jennette McCurdy was released in August of 2022 and quickly became a #1 New York Times bestseller. And it makes sense why. It's not because she was a child star on Nickelodeon. It's because it's brutally honest, emotionally intelligent, and honestly at times like a dark humored hilarious way of like looking at trauma, control, healing, and what it means to lose your mother and gain your voice. So this book is split into two parts. The before section detailing her childhood and years under her mom's manipulation, and the after, the slow painful process of healing after her mom's death. It's written in 91 like super short chapters, almost like diary entries or like snapshots of her memories, but each one really holds its own weight because she dives into topics like grief, discomfort, humor, and revelations that she has. So a little bit of background on the author. If you grew up watching iCarly or Sam and Cat on Nickelodeon, you probably know Jennette as Sam Puckett. She always played the loud, funny sidekick, but this book really reveals how much pain was hiding behind that performance, because Jennette didn't want to be famous. Her mom did. That was her mom's dream. And at 6 years old, Jennette was pushed into acting and controlled down to the number of calories she ate and what emotions were okay to feel. She lived literally under like the microscope of her mom. And this really moved me, so I went and watched some of her interviews. And the one that really stuck out to me was the conversation that she had with Drew Barrymore, because Drew was also a child star, a child actor, and Drew said something that really stuck with me. She asked Jennette, do we have to wait for certain people to die before we can tell our truth? And that question really hit me in the gut because I feel like so many people can really relate to that. And this book is Jennette's truth finally spoken. When I saw the title, I'm glad my mom died, like I didn't take it literally. I felt it emotionally because grief is really messy and layered. You can miss someone so deeply, and I think that's part of why this book meant so much to me, because my relationship with my mom was complicated. There was so much love, yes, but there was also a lot of pain. And since her death, I've really been untangling that. One passage that really hit me was on page 184. Jennette is texting a guy she's seeing while her mom is dying in the hospital, and he responds with, "Don't say that, boo. Your mom's not gonna die." And she writes, "He ignores the rest of my message. I roll my eyes. I've told him 12 times that my mom is dying of cancer, but he acts like she has a sprained ankle. He has no concept of loss. I feel like the world is divided into two types of people. People who know loss and people who don't. And whenever I encounter someone who doesn't, I disregard them." And I feel like that right there is the meat and potatoes of grief. Because when someone hasn't known loss, they just don't get it. And you never wish that upon someone, but it can be a really painful and lonely process. And when you're grieving, the wrong response someone can really amplify that. Another thing I absolutely love about the way she wrote this book is the pacing of it. Those 91 short chapters move fast. She uses simple language, no fluff, no unnecessary poetry, and yet the emotional weight of it all is still very much felt. She doesn't glamorize her trauma, which I admire. She just kind of lays it out really blunt, really honest, and open for interpretation, often with this dry, ironic sense of humor that made me laugh at times and like even brought me to tears, because I feel like that's a badge of honor that you earn when you have been through trauma and you try to laugh to keep from crying at times. And because the chapters are so short, you really get to feel like you're moving through her memories with her, like you're right there with her. It's one of the most visceral memoirs I've ever read because I feel like there's no performative writing or healing here. It's really messy. She dives into her battle with bulimia, anorexia, and alcoholism, and I feel like that's what makes it so real. In the first half of the book, the before, Jennette walks us through her childhood and her teenage years, and her mom literally micromanaged everything. Her eating, her clothes. She even made her take showers with her well into like her teenage years. Her mom would literally inspect her private parts for puberty changes and slept in the same bed as her well into like her teenage years. And she used guilt and manipulation constantly, like throwing tantrums and crying whenever Jennette would express that she wanted like a little bit of independence or freedom, or even just like a little bit of privacy. And we learn how Jennette developed eating disorders because her mom taught her how to restrict calories. And this section for me was really hard to read, especially if you've ever had a parent who's crossed boundaries under the guise of like love or protection for you. But what stood out the most to me was how long it actually took Jennette to realize that like what she was experiencing was abuse from her mom. And that realization of like what she endured like wasn't okay. And I feel like that's what makes the second half of this book so powerful, because the after section of the book is where things really start to shift. Her mom dies, and like at first she's like completely unmoored by this. Like she doesn't know who she is at all. And this is where we really start to like see her unravel, but also rebuild herself. She literally tries everything. She tries therapy, she tries dating, she tries to find something, like literally anything to fill the void in her. And there's this moment on page 199 that I underline. It reads, "I'm not scared of it anymore. I'm not scared of anything anymore, because I don't really care about anything anymore since mom died." She's talking about sex and finally deciding to maybe lose her virginity. But really, to me, I took it as like her take on numbness, that hollow place that like grief can really put you in. So for me, I feel like this section is about identity, recovery, and learning how to live your own life when someone has literally been telling you how to your entire existence. So who should read this book? If you've lost a parent or have a complicated relationship with one, I think this book will really speak to you. It's not just for fans of Jennette or iCarly. I think it's for anyone who's healing from invisible wounds. I think it's for the girls who were good daughters. I think it's for the people pleasers. And even if you can't relate directly to her experiences, I think this book can really teach you how to effectively listen, how to support, and how to respect someone else's pain and like their life story. So I'm giving I'm Glad My Mom Died a well-earned 5 out of 5 stars for its bravery, for its writing, and for its honesty, and for giving people the permission to feel their complicated truths out loud. I feel like because she wrote this book, so many more people are gonna find like the courage to come forward and share their stories. I don't think she wrote this book to like be liked or stir the pot. I think that she wrote this book as an act of self-love and to really free herself from what she experienced. And you can really feel that on every page. So thanks for sitting with me today. If you've read I'm Glad My Mom Died, let me know what part stuck with you in the comments. And if you've lost someone or have grief that you're still processing or holding on to, my heart goes out to you. I'm dropping new episodes every Friday, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and share Benzi's Book Club. You never know who might need this one. Until next time, read bravely, feel deeply, and be kind to your heart. I can't wait to see you next week.